But truly the blood is the key to physical life. And we need to really get a real grip on its sacredness and what it does. Okay? The red blood cell, which is what we have here, RBC is a red blood cell, is actually the mother cell for all tissues of the body. And you must understand that. Okay, the red blood cell is considered the totipotential cell of the body, and it has the capacity to transform into any other tissue.
The usual way, the way that we've always eaten, the way we've always conducted our lives, we're just processed right straight through the system. It starts at birth when they steal away breast milk and they replace it with processed infant formula. It continues when they tell our mothers that it's too dangerous to make our baby food. We have to buy the processed baby food. It continues when your child hits 10, 12, 15 months of age, when we actually are convinced that it's okay to give our kid French fries, that it's okay to get processed fruits and vegetables instead of fresh fruits and vegetables. We are processed through this system from birth all the way through the first years of life, and then we're taught to eat things that are not really food.
Spotting the limitations in your thinking and trading those in for a positive new thought in that area, it'll eventually lead you to all the other stuff.
Folks talk about protein. What is protein? They say one of the 19 amino acids, the building blocks of life. But I know for a fact that that is not a true statement. Because protein, if it was the building block of life, what happened to the gorilla that lives 180 years without eating anything that contains protein? The gorilla that lives 180 years without eating anything that contains protein. Unless they're going to say that the plants contain protein too. They're always saying things, and because we have no laboratories to investigate those things, then we have to swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
The last figure that I saw in a trade journal known as the Chemical Marketing Reporter indicated that it costs $96 million to prove a drug is safe and efficacious. What drug company in its right mind would want to prove that an herb would cure disease X if it's going to cost them $96 million and then you and I can grow this herb in our backyard? How do they get their $96 million back?
We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Is the body electrical? Yes. So therefore it necessitates electric food.
Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Is there ways you can halt the progression and totally eliminate
Corpus sarcoma?
and the disease that you've dealt with, the AIDS, cancer, leukemias, to arrest the progression and eliminate all the whatever symptoms, damage,
But that's what we've been doing for the last 20 years.
and restoring the full body back to.
But that's the only way you could cure. That's the cure.
We still run approximately 80% cure rate. And I know you're not supposed to say cure for at least 5 years, but I've known some of them 40 years that are still surviving. So I guess maybe we should still say a survival rate, but nevertheless they have no problems. So we assume they no longer have cancer because we cannot pick it up.
That's the cure. To remove that particular erosion, to remove that particular condition, whatever condition, whether AIDS or blindness, and restore 100% health. That's the only way I could do it. Through what? An intracellular cleansing. We put together our compound based on an electric system. And the body is electrical. We only have to ask that one question. Is the body electrical? Yes. So therefore it necessitates electric food.
Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue.
Still, Western medicine will not acknowledge this, because you have to understand what it says. See, because if it says that whatever you eat is immediately formed into blood cells, then that means that if I prescribe a medication for you and you absorb it, you've already been treated to some measure just by taking one pill. So that means that then relative to the turnover rate of the red blood cell, which if they're relatively stable is 127 days, for you to have adequate saturation, I can actually dose you on one day, and based on the turnover rate, etc., you've been treated for 4 months. So then how do I rationalize in prescribing for you to take medicine indefinitely or 5 or 6 times a day here forever? So see, that whole stuff was actually cut out of the whole teachings of how to teach a physician how to prescribe. You can't know that because, that means that, I won't make not even 1/10 of the money that I'm making off you taking all this medication.
John Hoxsey was a veterinarian whose prize stallion got cancer. He put it out to pasture to die. But 3 weeks later, the tumor had stabilized. He observed the horse eating unusual plants, not part of its normal diet. Within a year, the horse was well. So John Hoxsey began to experiment on animals with the herbs, and he added other popular home remedies. He claimed success and passed the formulas down through the family, who eventually used them on people.
Domesticated pets often seek out certain grasses to eat, even though they're adequately filled by other foods. This is particularly likely to happen if the animals are not well. It's interesting to note that the grasses selected by instinct are Johnson grass, Tunis grass, Sudan grass, and others that are especially rich in nitrilicides, or vitamin B17. Monkeys and other primates at the zoo, when given a fresh peach or apricot, will carefully pull away the sweet fleshy part, crack open the hard pit, and devour the small seed that remains. Instinct compels them to do this, even though they've never seen that kind of fruit before. These seeds are one of the most concentrated sources of nitrilicides to be found anywhere in nature. Now, it's highly significant that one never finds cancer in the carcasses of wild animals killed in the hunt. These creatures contract the disease only when they are domesticated by man and forced to eat the foods that he provides and the scraps from his table. Dr. George M. Briggs, professor of nutrition at the University of California, has said, "The typical American diet is a national disaster. If I fed it to pigs or cows without adding vitamins and other supplements, I could wipe out the livestock industry." A brief look at the American diet tells the story. Grocery shelves now are lined with high carbohydrate foods that have been processed, refined, synthesized, artificially flavored, and loaded with chemical preservatives. Some manufacturers even boast of how little real food there is in their product. Millet once was the nation's staple grain. It is high in nitrilicide content, but now it's been replaced by wheat, which has practically none at all. Sorghum cane has been replaced by sugar cane with the same result. Even our cattle are fed increasingly on quick-growing, low-nitrilicide grasses, so there's less vitamin B17 residue in the meat we eat. In some places, livestock now are being fed a diet containing 15% paper to fatten them quicker for market.
We're just processed right straight through the system, and we have to break out of it.